Right people, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today I'm going to be going over my training split that has been implemented at the start of this off season, going over every session, the split, why I've chosen this, my strong and weak points, why I've chosen each exercise, and a breakdown of everything and my hopes for this split going into the off season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I'd like to start with a disclaimer and credit. So the disclaimer is this split is designed and tailored for me, my strong points, my weak points, my access to equipment, my skill level. It's all tailored specifically to me. So don't go out trying to copy this split if you want to try and make my progress, because you really don't, because my progress is pretty shit. But no, that's a joke. But don't go copying this split, because it's tailored specifically for me, and you'd probably be better off with a different split. And what that split might be, I don't know, it's different to everyone. That's the whole point. That's the fun of the game. And obviously the credit, I did not create this split. Harry, my coach, HB Fitness, go check him out, elite level coaching. But he did all of this. He made the split. He identified the strong and the weak points. I just listen and execute the plan, as simple as that. So I did not create this plan. All of that goes to Harry. But without further ado, let's get into the actual split and stuff. So first, this split got implemented as soon as I finished my diet, and I'll put on screen now the photos from the end of the diet. And what we did at the end of the diet was we sort of had a provisional plan of what the strong and weak points were, but we looked at them at the end of the diet and we identified the physique, and the strong points that we picked out obviously are the quads. The quads are a big strong point. The delts, they're pretty capped. They're a pretty good strong point. And aside from that, the hamstrings, glutes are pretty good. Back thickness wasn't too bad. Quads were the main strong point though. But the weak points, the points that we really wanted to bring up the most and prioritize this off season, are the chest, the arms, and the back width, the lats. So that you'll see in this split, that is those muscles are being prioritized in the split, because those are the weak points, the one we want to bring up the most. But obviously we still need to put on a lot of size, so we're prioritizing everywhere. But those are the little specific points that we're actually tailoring towards for that extra growth. Now, what is the split? So it is a 7-day split, and it goes push, pull, legs, rest, chest and arms, posterior, rest. That is the split. It's a 7-day split. That's just what works for me. Rest days on a Thursday and a Sunday. And let's get straight into the session. So I'll put on screen the notes, or the order and the exercises for each session, and then I'll just talk through each session. So Monday is a push day. Now with this push day, as you know, there's a chest and arms later in the week. So this push day is quite shoulder focused, just because this is our only session where we're really doing some main shoulder targeting, except for a little touch up on chest and arms. But the session starts with 2 sets of a single arm cable lateral raise. I'll just do that cuffed, holding onto the cable, leaning out, and side raising up. That's 2 sets each side. Rep ranges for all of these are normally in around the 8 to 12 on the top set, and then the second set is a back off set, or I'll drop the load and normally do 12 to 15 reps. It's a little bit different for each exercise, but I won't go into that much detail. But that's sort of the main rep range. I don't really worry too much about my rep ranges. I just mainly worry about increasing reps or load each week and making sure that form stays standardized. But we start with that just to warm up the joints, warm up the shoulders, get a bit of blood into the side delts. Always start with an isolation on every single day. Then we go into 2 sets of a plate loaded shoulder press. We do the neutral grip on that one. Again, it's going to be a top set, a back off set. This is our big shoulder compound, focusing mainly on the front delt, but it's going to hit the whole shoulder and a little bit of that top line. You know, it's that sort of it. It's not really, on a push day, people focus too much on the shoulders, or this works the upper chest. This works the rest of the chest. any pressing movement's going to work that whole top line, that tricep, the shoulder, and the whole chest. So 2 sets of a plate-loaded shoulder press, then 2 sets of a plate-loaded high incline press, because again, it is a bit more of a shoulder-focused session. So high incline and really focusing on driving through and up. So still getting a lot of that upper chest, because that is a priority, the chest and the upper chest, but also that whole top line again. Then into 2 sets of a pec deck, just to touch up and finish off our chest. Really focusing on squeezing, keeping the form good, standardized, and stopping when I've hit mechanical failure, like I talked about on my reel on Instagram and TikTok. Then a bit more shoulder work, 3 sets of a machine lateral raise. I'll do this bilaterally, so I'll do this at the same time. Again, just focusing on sweeping out, driving, really getting that side delt, finishing off the front and side delt for that one. Again, it's a machine lateral raise, it's nothing crazy. Then 2 sets of a reverse pec deck, because you can never have too big of a rear delt, just sort of trying to touch up, get as much volume on the shoulders there as possible, as they're not really being trained too often. And then for triceps, obviously the arms are a point that we're trying to bring up. So we're doing 3 sets of a rope tricep extension and then 3 sets of a machine dip. This is just what I really like. It doesn't really matter what tricep exercise you do, but these are the ones I enjoy, I connect well with. So I've added them in the split, but that is the push day. It's shoulder focused. It's nothing special. These splits aren't anything special, but it is a bit more shoulder focused, as we've got that chest and arms later, so that's only our only shoulder direct work for the week. So that is the push day on a Monday, and a pretty fun and lovely session to start the week off with. Then session 2 on the Tuesday is pull, which obviously back and biceps, you know what a pull day is. Start off like the other one, 2 sets of a rope pull through or a lat pull over, whatever you want to call it. 2 sets, rope, or I use a rope kind of attachment, and a pull over on a cable, standard stuff, getting blood into the lats, warming up all the joints, getting primed for the heavier work. That's pretty much the theme for all of these days, that sort of isolation at the start to warm up the nervous system ready for high intensity work and get some blood flow into the muscles. Then we move into 2 sets of a single arm high row. One I've been having a little bit of trouble on, but recently really nailed the intensity and the form and connection on that one. Really focusing on driving with the elbow, using the hand as the hook into the hips, and obviously that is a lat exercise, as back width is the priority. Then 2 sets of a Smith machine bent over row. That is just compound hinge exercise, can't really go wrong. Load pretty heavy on that. Keep form good, but really trying to build that one up. Build the strength up, build up that big posterior chain. Pretty simple stuff. Then 2 sets of a neutral grip row. So that is another lat row where I'm upright, neutral grip, shoulder width grip, driving down and into the pocket again. Another lat exercise just from a different angle, as back width again is a priority. Then 2 sets of a low row. That's the one, again, upper back, trying to really squeeze, because we're still trying to bring up everything. It's not as much of a focus, but we're still trying to bring up the whole back, just trying to get some real mass on the frame. So 2 sets of those. Then 1 set of an upper back pull down, just to finish off the back. The lats sort of focusing not as much on just driving down, but back and through on that pull down, just finishing off the whole back there. 1 set of reverse pec deck, because shoulders, rear delts recover really quickly and extra volume's not going to hurt. Then onto the bicep work, a focus point. 2 sets of a plate loaded preacher curl, really focusing on squeezing in that shortened range. And then 2 sets of a machine curl where I'm sitting, the machine's there and I'm curling in that length and range. Again, really focusing on squeezing, feeling it, and not just trying to do as many reps or lift as much load as possible. That is the pull day there. Quite lat focused, back width focused, as that is the focus. A touch up or quite a lot of upper back in there as well. A little touch up on the rear delts, because you can never get too big, and they are very important in all your back poses. And 4 sets of biceps at the end there, because arms are a priority. Now on to the leg day, the only quad work for the week. Starting off, 2 sets of a seated hamstring curl, because hamstrings, we want to bring them up, we want to bring everything up. It warms up the knee joint, gets some blood into the legs, warms up our nervous system. Again, it's the same thing every session. 2 sets of a seated ham curl to start, then into 2 sets of a leg extension. A very, very important exercise for the quads. The only exercise where your quad is getting fully shortened and the tension is going on that shortened position. Again, warming up the knees, pre-fatiguing for the squatting patterns later on. It's a necessity. Warms up the joints really well, really focusing on not just lifting as much load, but squeezing at the top, getting a full range of motion, obviously going to failure. Then 2 sets of a pendulum squat, really focusing on getting as deep as possible, knee over toe, heel elevation, as much quad as possible, as we've only got 6 sets of quads the entire week, so we want to make sure every set is absolutely nailed, which is always is. Legs is never a bad session. Then 2 sets of a lying hamstring curl, again, trying to get some hamstring volume in there, hitting it from a different angle, prioritizing slightly different parts of the hamstring. Then 2 sets of a hack squat. That's the last set of the hack squat. After that, immediately walking lunges till failure. Again, knee over toe on the hack squat, just trying to get as much stimulus to the quad there. Finish off the quads with the walking lunges, as this is the only volume. Then 2 sets of adductors, because we are trying to close that thigh gap. Again, build big adductors. You can never have too big adductors. And then 2 sets of a standing calf raise, because we don't skip calves around here. So that is the leg session there. Only quad work for the week, so it is quite quad dominant. Obviously got the touch up in hamstrings there as well, because they are a point we want to bring up. Not as much as other muscles, but again, everything wants to come up, so we're still training to failure. It's always a great session. And then for rest days, which are Thursdays and Sundays, at the point of recording, it is just 30 minutes of cardio on those rest days. I am meant to train abs, but to be honest, I'll be honest, I have been skipping abs recently. Shoot me. We're trying to get back into it in the off season. But for now, I do like to stay away from the gym on a rest day and really just make sure that when I'm in the gym, I want to be in there and fucking hammering the sessions, which I have been recently. They've been going really, really well. But that is what a rest day looks like. Then the chest and arms session after the rest day on a Friday. Lovely session. Starts off 2 sets of a pec deck. Sort of, again, isolation work, warming up the shoulders, warming up the chest, pre-fatiguing, getting really in that shortened position, getting some blood flow in the chest. Same setup as every session. Then 2 sets of a plate-loaded incline press. Not as much as an incline, focusing more on the chest on this one. Really going heavy, obviously. 2 sets of a plate-loaded flat press, getting the chest from a different angle. A lot of chest volume, it is a priority this off-season. Then 2 sets of a cable press. That is where I will set a bench up, get the cables, D handles, drive through and press. Again, finishing off the chest there, getting it from a different angle, different type of exercise, more chest volume. What more could you want? Then 4 sets of machine lateral raises in there, because we want to touch up on those side delts. We still want them to grow. Just because they're good doesn't mean we don't want them to grow. So that are chucked in there. And then the arms portion, which is quite important because arms are a priority. 2 sets of a machine curl, again working that length and range of the bicep there. Then 2 sets of a rope tricep extension and a rope overhead extension, hitting the triceps from different angles. Exercises I enjoy, I connect well with. Finishing off all parts of the tricep. And then 2 sets of an easy bar cable curl, working the bicep in the shortened position. Exercise I connect well with. Arms, don't need to overcomplicate them. That is the chest and arm session, a very important session, because those muscles that are getting worked in there are all muscles that really do need to come up. So quite an important session. Really enjoy this one. A lot of chest volume, a lot of good arm volume in there. Works out perfectly right off the back of a rest day, so we can go in 110%. Then posterior, the final session of a week on a Saturday morning. What more could you want? Starting off, two sets of a seated hamstring curl. Again, it's the same setup, warming up the knees, blood flow into the hamstrings, warming up the brain, ready for some big, heavy work. Same setup every single session. Posterior, for context, is, well, your whole posterior chain is the back of you, but this session is really focusing on the back and the hamstrings. Then 2 sets of an RDL. It's a hinge. It works the whole posterior chain. It is an amazing exercise. I'm a big advocate of this one. That's going to finish off the hamstrings, but it's going to load the entire back, and it's a great exercise. Then onto the back work, 2 sets of a neutral grip pull down, focusing on again, hand is a hook, driving that elbow into our pocket, really focusing on the lats there. Then 2 sets of a T-bar row. Again, it's sort of a whole back mass builder there, but again, it is upper back focus. So we're focusing on trapping the scapula and squeezing those traps. Then 1 set plus a drop set of neutral grip rows, same as on the pull day. Really, hand is the hook, elbow into the hip. Lat exercises are not that complicated. Trying to get the volume on there, back width is a priority. Then 2 sets of a low row to get that upper back volume in, really squeezing, getting that traps. And then 2 sets plus a drop set of a Smith machine shrug, as upper traps are quite a priority as well, because haven't really got much of them, haven't really got much of anything, but again, the weak points are the weaker points of the weak physique. So 2 sets plus a drop set of Smith machine shrugs, and then finishing off 2 sets of adductors, because again, we want to close the thigh gap. You can never have too big adductors. And that is the whole split there. Then a Sunday rest day, repeat that every single week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the session. The plans with this split are, we implemented this a couple weeks ago when the diet started, when the off season started, when the diet finished. We're about into week 4 now of the reverse, starting the off season. So we will run the shit and rinse this split. It is in a great position. Training is in a great position right now. So we will continue to rinse this split up, run it up, get really fucking strong on all of these exercises, absolutely nail it, leave nothing in the gym every single session we're doing, and try to bring up those weak points, which are the chest, the arms, and the back width, and just really focusing on utilizing the most of this off season and nailing every single day. And hopefully we'll put on a shit ton of mass, get really fucking strong, and especially in those weak points of the physique. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that gave you a good insight into my plans training wise for the off season, what I'm doing, what the split looked like, how you can plan your own split by identifying your weak points, your strong points, and then building your split based on what time you have, your skill level, what's your schedule looking like, when can you get in the gym, what do you enjoy, because that's what it's all about, enjoying it. And this split is going to be very fucking good. Very excited to run this up the entire off season. So like, subscribe, as always, comment down below if you want to see me film one of these sessions, maybe even mic'd up, and that can be its own video. But if you have any questions, obviously comment them down below. If you have any content ideas, especially for the UK trip coming soon, comment down below. IG, TikTok, Callum_shreds, which I'm sure that's where you came from. But that is the split that I'm going to be running up this off season, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get really strong, get really fucking big, especially in those weak points. But that is all. That's the training split. Credit to Harry for cooking up this amazing split, because this shit's going to be good. Like, comment, anything, comment down below. What are we going to comment down below? Comment down below training split if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and more videos to come. A lot of them this off season, hopefully once a week. But I hope you enjoyed. See you soon.